Burma coup resistance notes December 12, 2022. Ethnic regions. The large battle continued in Namsan township of northern Shan State today, where junta troops invaded Tarang territory on December 7. Yesterday junta jets and helicopters continued to bomb and strafe villages, using their largest 500-pound bombs, hitting a school and some homes. A report also says one of the large bombs went astray last night and killed 28 junta troops who had invaded a village that was targeted. Thousands of civilians are fleeing to Namsan, the main town. The heavy use of air power suggests that the junta's ground troops may be in trouble. At last information, the Tarang army had surrounded several hundred junta troops who had been airlifted in by helicopter. In Karenni State, Karenni Defense Forces fired mortars or rockets into the Loikaw airport yesterday, targeting the junta's ammunition depot. There were also attacks in Loikaw town, which is occupied by the enemy. At least 5 explosions took place in the town. It is now known that 5 Karenni soldiers perished in the fighting on December 7 when junta troops reinvaded Loikaw and tried to get back into other villages in western Mortars township where they had been driven out by Karenni forces at the end of November. They were given a funeral yesterday. At least 20 junta troops died in that fighting and 4 were captured, along with a number of weapons. The Kachin army and allied PDFs landmined a road taken by 68 junta troops yesterday and blew up some of them. Afterward, Kachin soldiers found at least 10 buried bodies of junta troops. An unknown number of wounded were evacuated. In Shan State, junta troops patrolling along a road decided to fire their weapons into refugee tents in Karenni township yesterday and wounded 3 civilians. In Pang township of Shan State, an ethnic Karen area, after 2 junta police were killed on December 10, junta troops went to a different village which voted for the NLD in the last election and kidnapped more than 20 random people at gunpoint. Junta scorched earth village terrorism campaign. The terrorists have stepped up the pace of village destruction. Over the past 3 days 130 troops and Hati have burned 6 villages in Karenni township and caused 20 villages to empty out as 23,000 residents flee the terror. Local PDFs have been helping the refugees to escape safely in time. In Dipayan township, junta terrorists spent the past 2 days burning Mero village. They scrawled a threat on a whiteboard, saying if people continue to support the PDFs, there would soon be no villages in the area. Despite events to date, the junta still thinks it can terrorize the people into accepting its rule, if it just uses enough violence. People's Defense Forces PDFs. In Zagaring region, PDF police arrested the manager and another staff member of a junta-owned bank, and a junta soldier yesterday in Kali town. The PDF police were informed that the Myanmar Economic Bank manager and the others were partying at a karaoke bar, and went to arrest them. Another junta soldier who resisted was killed. Those arrested will be prosecuted under the National Unity Government's anti-terrorism laws. A fierce battle is underway today in northern Kali township along the Tamu road. No results are in yet. The junta brought in a convoy full of weapons provided by India along this road in November. Later in the day the troops began burning Nanshong village and firing mortars at civilians. Hati terrorists threatened residents of your village in Karenni township, Zagaring region, that if they didn't submit to inscription and training in the Hatis, the village would be burned. Every household is expected to send a male if they have one, or a female. The villagers responded by fleeing. Then yesterday a local PDF came and fired locally manufactured mortars at the Hatis in Yor. Self-taught military engineers at 2 Magway region PDFs have perfected a shoulder-launched rocket with a range of 7 kilometers, after 3 months of development. It was modified after the recoil broke the clavicle of a tester. A video shows it being used safely. Shells reportedly cost 12,000 kyats, about $4 and the launcher costs 200,000 kyats, $70 to produce. Since the coup, people with no previous experience have developed, produced, and used locally manufactured mortars, roadside bombs, aquatic mines, drone bombs, rifles, and other technologies of war, due to the lack of help from outside. After junta troops left a camp at Kotangbo in Karenni township today, PDFs attacked the remaining troops in the camp. They say they caused a number of junta casualties but don't know how many. Then helicopter gunships arrived and began firing, and the PDFs retreated. 1 PDF soldier was killed and 3 wounded. PDFs intercepted a junta Payuz Hati patrol in Bayan village of Tants Township yesterday, killing a soldier and 2 Payuz Hati terrorists. Combined Chin forces and Kali Township PDFs ambushed junta troops coming out of a police barracks in Myautse 2 days ago, December 12, killing 3 and wounding 3, and forcing the troops back into the barracks. There are frequent reports of junta troops in plain clothes extorting money from travelers at road checkpoints while claiming to be PDFs. The latest one is from Sai Naring Kwe village in Wetlet Township, Zagaring region. Urban warfare. In Yangon, a bomb exploded this morning at the junta immigration office in Dagon Myathit Township, which is guarded by junta troops. 1 person was wounded. In response, junta troops and police are stopping anyone riding a motorcycle and stealing all the motorcycles and loading them into trucks. In Mandalay, an urban PDF bombed the guardhouse at the junta's Central Military Command yesterday, causing some casualties and damage, though no details are reported. 5 grenades were discovered by junta police at the Naypyidaw bus station in a parcel shipped from Du Ta 2 district of Korthulay Thaton Township on Burmese maps. They traced the source of the parcel to a local Payuz Hati pro-junta terrorist leader in Thaton, and subsequently seized and abducted that Payuz Hati leader and his family. Security is tight in Naypyidaw in preparation for another one of the junta's self-congratulatory pageant events. No explanation is given as to why a junta supporter would mail grenades to Naypyidaw. In Maru Pin city of Irrawaddy region, the junta is repeating its pattern of urban destruction, obliterating more than 100 shops in a commercial district. Political and economic. After the European Union formally recognized the National Unity Government, its ambassador to ASEAN, Igor Mann, said today that the EU supports Indonesia's efforts to find a solution to the Burma crisis. Indonesia, a democracy, favors the democratic resistance to the illegal Burma military regime. News outlets carry various stories these days about new deals signed between the illegal Burma regime and the Putin government in Russia, involving the purchase of weapons systems and, supposedly, nuclear power generation technology. All of these deals pass through relatives of junta generals, who pocket a large cut. The same is true for construction contracts. It's a crony kleptocracy. While these military purchases are taking place, the country has a food shortage and can't purchase sufficient fuel to keep the electrical grid lit or cars on the road.
Don't forget, subscribe, like, share.